Hi everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we will be completing in today's video. If you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the color palette. It's totally free to download. I have it linked in the description below. Go ahead and just open up the file that downloads and it'll automatically pop the color palette into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the video today. So take a second to go and grab that and then come back and we'll get started. First things first, we will go over our canvas dimensions. They are 10 inches by 10 inches at 300 dpi. The color profile that we're using is the second one on the RGB list. And for our layers today, by the end of the video, we've used about 15 layers. So make sure you have at least that many available by checking here. If you do not, you can always lower your DPI here to get more layers. This is the color palette that we'll be working with today. Lots of different colors. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. The first thing that we'll do is set our background color. So open up your layer menu, click on this background color layer here at the bottom. Click on it, it'll open up your color palette, and then click on this third color on the second row to set it to this nice light blue color. Next, we will be on layer 1. We will grab the first color on the first row of our color palette, and we are going to start with the monoline brush. Under the calligraphy tab, let's go ahead and have that set to like 60%. And we are going to start by drawing the top of our tree trunk here that our bird will be sitting on. So we are just going to draw a oval. Hold that down until it snaps, and then touch your finger on the screen to make it a perfectly horizontal oval. That gives it a nice good shape. And then let it go. If you need to, you can click edit shape at the top to adjust the size. I might make mine just a little bit skinnier, but about this long, and then I do just want it a little off center to the left, so not like way over here, but you know, this is probably about center, so maybe just a little bit to the left, maybe about right there, with a good amount of room between the oval and the ground to draw our tree trunk. Then we are going to go ahead and fill that in. Go to our layer menu on this layer, click on it and turn on alpha lock. Grab the second color on the top row, and we are going to use the soft brush under the airbrushing category next. So let's have that set to maybe 12 to 15%, and we are just going to lightly drag this lighter color around all in the middle of our oval here. So adjust your size down if you need to, if it's covering the entire thing, so that you can leave a little bit of darker color around the edge. Next, on the same layer, same color, we are just going to switch our brush to the grunge brush under the textures category. We are going to set that to maybe 20%, and we are just going to kind of make some little circular shapes that kind of follow the shape of our oval in this color as well, just to add a little bit more texture and to kind of mimic that tree trunk design. So really, really messy, nothing too perfect. They kind of overlap in some spots, but just to add a little bit more design to it. Next, we will move right along and we'll move on to the next part of our tree trunk, the base of it. So let's add a new layer on our layer menu. Drag this below our first layer that we did. So right above our background layer there. And we are going to grab the third color on the top row of our color palette, and we are going to switch back to our monoline brush. Same size and everything. And the first thing that we are going to do is draw a line on each side of our oval here to start the shape of our tree trunk. So start on the very edge of the oval over here, draw a straight up and down line, hold it down, don't have to touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. In fact, I might have it, you know, angle out just a little bit like this. Go ahead and click Edit Shape at the top and then drag this top line if you need to adjust it to make sure it really meets up nicely with the edge of your oval there. Do the same thing on the other side, so start on the side of the oval, draw a straight line, hold it down. And again, mostly up and down, but maybe out just a little bit, and then again adjust this top part to line up nicely there. Okay, then let's go ahead and just draw a line kind of behind our oval here to connect each side and then fill that in. And then on each side, we are going to add a little bit more fun to it and connect it to the ground. So starting maybe just a quarter to a third of the way up at the base of our trunk here, I'm just going to start drawing some squiggly lines kind of going out and down like this. And then go ahead and fill that in. Make sure it connects nicely to our original trunk shape. We don't want it to be like a really harsh line there. Then we will do the same thing on the other side. Just something simple like this, and then fill that in as well. Maybe add a little bit more shape to it like that. Again, making sure it connects nicely here in kind of like a swooped line to make it look nice and smooth. Next, we'll add some texture and whatnot to this. So let's go to our layer menu, find this layer here that we just drew, click on it, turn on alpha lock again like we did before. And next we'll grab this fourth color on the top row and again switch to our soft brush under the airbrushing category. Let's again have our brush at about 15%, and this color is a little bit lighter than our base color, so we are going to focus this all on the inside of our tree trunk here, not touching the edges. So just in the front, like middle part, leaving the edges darker again. Next, grab the fifth color on the top row, and this one is even lighter still, and we will add just a little bit more of that right in the middle. And then next we will click on the very first color on the first row. This was the one that we used for the base of our original oval, and so it's even lighter still. So we will go ahead and add this mostly just in sections, not covering the entire thing. And then we will grab the sixth color on the top row, a darker one, and we will focus this just on the edges and the little areas that go to the ground. And then we will even add in just a few sections of this to our middle as well, very, very lightly, just to give a little bit more variation, but not very many. Next step, we will grab the second color on the top row. We will switch back to our grunge brush under the textures category. And with that set at maybe 40%, we will very, very lightly use our brush vertical, going up and down in sections to make some more little kind of stripey areas that have some good texture to them, like this. Not always going all the way top to bottom, sometimes just from the top and sometimes just at the bottom. But something like this. Next, we will add a new layer on top of this layer, click on it and turn it to a clipping mask. Select the N here on this layer so that we can change the layer style, and we are going to change it to multiply, which is all the way at the top. Grab the last color on the top row, this like grayish color, and same grunge brush, we're going to up the size to maybe 70%, and we are going to just add this all over our tree trunk to add some more texture to the entire thing. Then let's add another new layer. Again, select it and turn it to a clipping mask. And now we will grab this seventh color on the top row, and we are going to again use our grunge brush, but this time lower the size to maybe 15%. And then we're going to very lightly add some more little vertical lines in sections to kind of finish out the picture. and give it some more detail. Again, some connecting to the top, some connecting to the bottom, and then some also just kind of floating in the middle. Just kind of varying their size and their placement all the way along it, about like this. Next, we will do the little leaf branch type things that are poking out behind our tree trunk. So let's add a new layer on our layer menu and drag it below our tree trunk layer that we just created right above our background layer. We will grab the first color on the second row, and we will grab the dry ink brush under the inking category. That is what we will be using for these leaves, for the stems and the leaves themselves. We'll set the size to about 30%. So on each side, there will just be straight lines poking out up and to the right, or on this side up and to the left. And they won't go too far up and out. They won't go like way up here or anything, just kind of on the sides here, maybe a little bit higher up from the top of our tree trunk here. So we'll just kind of start maybe in this general area here and draw a line, hold it down until it goes off the screen, and then let it go. So that's our first stem. So they will all just kind of be like that in varying heights and sizes, some a little more close together. Never going off the screen, always staying on. But maybe something like that. We ended up with like 6 that look kind of like they come in pairs. That's kind of cute, I suppose. We'll leave it like that. And then we'll do the same thing over here. We always start on the outside and then draw to the bottom to give this nice tapered look. If you did it the other way, you would get naturally kind of just a stumpier look on the end, just by the way that you kind of hold pressure down with your pen. So there's 4 good ones, then maybe we'll do one that kind of crosses them like that. Okay, so we'll leave it about like that, and now we will draw our leaves. Okay, so next we will go ahead and add a new layer above this one, grab the second color on the second row, same brush, same size, and now we're going to add some leaves. We won't have a ton of leaves, just a few here and there on each stem. So let's just start on the left side here on this first big stem. Maybe we'll add one here and maybe another one down here. And then maybe we'll add one on this one up here. And maybe another one down here. Again, maybe there, and maybe we'll just do the one on that one so that we don't cluster it up too much. And then here, and here, and here, and here. So you just draw one curved line and then another curved line. Next to it, if your brush is too big, you can lower the size if you're having trouble getting some good leaf shapes with the size that it's at. But there's the leaves for that side, so then let's go over here and do the same thing. Maybe some of these can have 3 on them because they're bigger. Except for this little guy. But just kind of try to fill in the picture nicely and make sure each side looks about even in terms of, you know, how filled out they are. So they're going to be a little different since there's more space on this side than that side, but that's okay. They look pretty good like that. One thing that I will say is that I do just kind of want these overall to take up a little more room. So I am going to go to my layer menu. I have this layer selected already with the leaves on it. I'm going to slide right on my stem layer to select it also. Click on the selection tool, set it to freehand, make sure nothing's turned on. And I'm just going to draw around this side here. Click the arrow tool, set it to uniform, and just use this corner to just like make it a little bit bigger like that. I'm going to grab the selection tool again, select this side now, and do the same thing, arrow tool, uniform, and make it a little bit bigger as well. So we made them bigger each way towards the middle so that there's more hiding behind the trunk, rather than if we were to draw them, if we were to have resized them out to the side of the canvas, they would have went off the canvas, and we didn't want that. I'd rather have them just kind of hiding behind the canvas, or hiding behind the tree trunk a little bit more and being there instead. But that makes it look a little bit more filled out, and I like that. Okay, so now we are going to move on to our bird. So let's add a new layer on top of all of our layers here on our layer menu. We are going to grab this first color on the last row, switch back to our monoline brush under the calligraphy tab to lay out our shapes. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to leave a little bit of space between the top of our trunk and the bottom of our bird here. But we are going to draw a circular shape, hold it down, and we want it to be more of an oval. So hold it down until it turns into a perfect shape, and then click edit shape at the top. And then we want it to just be an ellipse, not a circle. And I want it to be facing this way. So I want it to be higher on the right side, lower on the left side, and have it be a good round oval, though nothing like too skinny. We want it to be pretty plump, little oval, but again, higher on the right side, lower on the left side, about like this. Go ahead and fill that in. And then on the top right side here, we are going to draw a circle. Hold that down again. Touch your finger to the screen this time to make it a perfect circle. Click edit shape again, and we are just going to have this circle kind of line up right with the top right corner here, overlapping just a little bit, but not a lot. We want to see a good amount of the circle itself. And then go ahead and fill that in. And then we are going to connect these two nicely. So we want just kind of a curved line to kind of connect them so it looks nice and smooth and like it's the same part of the same body. So I'm just kind of making a nice curved line to connect them and kind of smooth that out. So now you should have something that looks like this. Next, we're going to add the tail. So we're going to be down in this lower left side of our shape. And where this is, this top part of our oval here, this is its back. So from this side here, this kind of top left side of its butt, essentially, we are going to draw a straight line going out. Hold that down until it turns perfectly straight. It's going down and to the left. We are going to start at that point, and we are going to make a curved line that curves out like this. Hold that down. And then we want another straight line back. Maybe getting a little skinnier at the top. So kind of holding the line down and then adjusting it to where it's kind of skinnier at the top than it is at the bottom of the tail here. I went ahead and clicked edit shape, and then I'm just going to adjust this line to meet up nicely with this other line that we had before. And then go ahead and fill that in. So that's our tail. I'm again going to use my brush to just more nicely connect these shapes here at the bottom. So I'm just going to make a slightly curved line here to kind of smooth that out so it's not such a harsh line there. And then to finish off this body area, we are going to add the wing on the back. So his wing will come off and go off his body and come up just a little bit. So I'm going to make a dot right above like the bottom of his tail here where his tail meets his body. I'm just going to go up and to the left a little, kind of following the curve of this body. And then outside of his body just a little bit in this open space, I'm going to make a dot right there. So this is where the point of his wing is going to be. So from this dot, I'm going to draw a curved line going up and around towards on his back, meeting towards his neck area right there. And then from that point, again, I'm going to draw a curved line going back towards his body, hold that down as well, and then fill that in. So that completes our little setup here. So we have his body, we have his head, we have his wing, and we have his tail. So make any adjustments if you need to. If you want to make his wing go out a little further, if you want to make his body a little rounder, If you need to do any kind of smoothing or anything, go ahead and do that now. But this is what we have so far. So next we are going to do all of the coloring on his body. So that will all take place on this same layer. So open up your layer menu. On this layer, click on it and turn on alpha lock. On the color palette, grab the second color on the last row, and we are going to switch back to our grunge brush under the textures category there. And let's have that set at about maybe 40%. And the first thing that we are going to do is draw his chest. So I kind of color blocked it just how I wanted it. You can do any colors that you want. You can change up the colors, anything that fits, but I am just essentially doing, the belly will still stay white, his chest will be purple, his head and tail will be pink, and then his wing will be green. So I'm just going to start on the chest. So with my purple color here, I am just going to make a kind of ring around his neck. That's like where his neck would be. And then I'm just going to slowly bring it down more towards his belly, very lightly like this. So leaving the head blank, we'll go back in with the wing to cover this part up. But that is where we're at now. Grab the third color on the last row, and then we're going to start kind of where we left off there and add this lighter purple color and just kind of slowly fade it out at the end to fade into our white color. Overlap them where they meet, about like this. Next we will grab the fourth color on the last row. So this is our green for our wing. So I'm going to start where my wing is here and just follow this into kind of a curved fashion, meeting up where the neck is. And then I'm going to cover all the rest of this with the green. So this is his wing. That's kind of how our coloring works, and we're going to cover all this purple now. And so this is where his wing is, so make it as low or as high as you want it, you know, give it a nice curve here, but make sure there's plenty of purple showing for his chest. Smooth this whole shape out, and then grab the fifth color on the last row, our lighter green, and we are just going to add that in all over in the middle here to add some more variation and kind of highlights, leaving the edges maybe darker so that we have a little of both. And then we will grab the sixth color on the last row, our darker pink color. So now we're just going to, if we need to, overlap our other colors, but just kind of make a little circular shape here, a little curved like area where its neck is to kind of create the roundness of our head, and then fill in the rest of it as well. So now all of your colors should be together like this. And then the same thing with the tail, just kind of cover the whole tail up to the base where it meets its body. And if you end up coloring in any of its wing, go back in with your green color just to kind of section that out better. Then let's grab our seventh color on the last row, our lighter pink, and we'll kind of focus this towards the top half of its tail, maybe leaving this bottom and base area darker, so the top section kind of has more light to it. And then with the head, kind of similar to our wing, maybe just more so focusing on the inside area, leaving the edges a little bit darker, like this. So go ahead and play around with any other colors you might want. You can add even more variation, maybe a little bit lighter green you can add in certain sections just to give it some more highlight, anything really like that. But next we are going to move on and we are going to finish out the rest of its little body parts, its feet and its beak and its eye. So let's go ahead and add a new layer. Click on this layer, turn it to a clipping mask. So then let's go ahead and grab this last color on the last row, 8th in line at the end of our pinks. And we will switch back to our dry ink brush now. So our dry ink brush under the inking category, I have that still at about 30%. And we are going to, first of all, just since we are above its body here, we are going to add the eye and the little details to it. And then we will go back in on a separate layer, add the feet and the beak. And then we'll finish off the background. So let's get started here with its eye, since we have this dark color selected. So literally like right smack dab in the middle of this circular area here, I am just going to draw a little circular shape for its eyeball. Next, let's grab the first color on the last row, this bright white kind of color here, and this is what we'll add the rest of the details with. So I am going to add maybe 3 little dots on the side of his face here. Then I'm going to lower the size to maybe 20%, and I'm just going to do some little V shapes on his chest down here to kind of add a little something there. At the bottom of its tail here, I'm going to start inside the tail and draw 3 lines going off the bottom of his tail like this. And then on the wing here, I might do some more V's, kind of alternating up and down till we get to the end here. Something like that. And then maybe a few more little lines here. Something like that, just to kind of decorate it a little bit, really. So do whatever you would like. Maybe you want less, maybe you want more. And then we will move on to the last few steps here. So let's add a new layer, drag it below our bird layer, above our tree stump layer here, right in between those. Go back to our last color on the last row, and same dry ink brush, we are going to make his feet. So let's just draw a straight line up and down, hold that down. Another straight line up and down, hold that down. So those are his 2 legs there. From the bottom of each of those, I will make 3 more straight lines. Like this, and I'm kind of having them face like forward, so this first line that I drew downwards is like almost perfectly down, but just barely outwards. The next one is facing to the right a little bit more, and then the last one is like up and to the right. So they're kind of facing forwards. And then on the very front of his head here, we will make a beak shape, just 2 pointed lines, hold it down until it turns into a perfect shape, and then fill that in. So that is his beak. Now that I'm here, overall, I feel like the bird itself is a little bit big. So I'm going to go to my layer menu. We already have our black leg and beak layer selected. Slide right on the body layer, slide right on the little details layer. Click the arrow tool, set it to uniform, and I'm just going to make him just a little bit smaller, kind of reposition him. Okay, once you have your bird done and where you like him, we will move on to finish off our background. So let's add a new layer, drag it all the way down right below our background color layer. Grab the 4th color on the 2nd row, switch back to our monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. And this is going to be our sun. So let's just draw a perfect circle, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle. And I just clicked edit shape so I can move it around, but I'm going to have it just like in the top left corner here, sticking out from behind our bird, about this size. Fill that in. Then let's add a new layer on top of that. Grab the 5th color on the 2nd row, same monoline brush, and we are going to draw some clouds. So I'll maybe start in the top right here, and I'm going to draw a straight line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal, and I'm going to have it go off the page. That's going to be the bottom part of our cloud. So I'm going to zoom in here, and now we're going to just draw some curved lines, hold them down as well. Another curved line, hold it down. Another curved line going off the screen, hold it down, and then fill in that shape. Let's maybe do another one like kind of here behind this bird. So another horizontal line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. I'm going to move it up a little bit above our leafy things. Again, starting on the edge here, another curved line, hold it down. Curved line, hold it down. curved line, hold it down. And then since the rest of this is behind the bird, I'm just going to kind of fake it and connect to the bottom of the cloud here so that I can fill that in. And then let's do maybe one on the left side here in front of the sun. So another straight line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. And then curved line, curved line, curved line, curved line. And then fill that in. Okay, so those are all of our clouds and our sun. Now that they're all done, I can put them on the same layer. I didn't want to before in case we wanted to move any of our clouds around, but I like where they're at and I like how they turned out. So I am going to go to my layer menu. We have our cloud layer and our sun layer here. I'm just going to use my fingers and snap them together so they're all on one layer. Then I'm going to click my wand tool, click Gaussian Blur, and drag this up to maybe 20% to give them a nice blurry effect to really make them kind of fade in with the background there to make our bird the star of the show as he should be. So that is it for our drawing today. I hope you had fun. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more tutorials from me in the future. If you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. While you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching!